our NHS and social care system is in permanent crisis under the SNP, and we know that one route to solving this crisis lies with tackling delayed discharge. That's where a patient is medically cleared to go home but can't, often due to a lack of a care package. In the words of Dr Ian Kennedy of the BMA, the key to unlocking the front door of our hospitals lies at the back door. But under the SNP, delayed discharge has soared. On Monday, I raised the case of Yvonne, a 68-year-old grandmother living with MS from Auchterarder. Despite being medically cleared to go home, Yvonne had to spend an extra 2 months in hospital waiting for a care package. In desperation, Yvonne took to wearing a T-shirt that said, "Can I go home now?" and bed blocker. How have John Swinney and Neil Gray allowed this to get so bad?
First Minister.
So the issues around delayed discharge are complex because they essentially rely upon the strength and the capacity of the social care system in Scotland. And that's the key question that the Government is addressing in the steps that we're taking to ensure that the health service and the care system meets the needs of the public in Scotland. So one of the steps that we're taking to try to make that a better position, because I accept that the situation that Mr Sarwar has put to me is not acceptable. We're putting in place a record funding settlement for the health service, which will strengthen social care, and we're also delivering a real terms increase in the local authority budgets to make sure that local authorities are able to contribute more to health and social care partnerships to make sure that more social care places are available at local level. That's the practical and tangible action the Government is taking to address this situation.
Anas Sarwar.
The fact is, it's getting worse, not better, on this Government. And in 2015, the SNP pledged to end delayed discharge. But much like their pledges on waiting times, A&E performance and social care, things have got worse, not better. On any given day, around 2,000 Scots are stuck in hospital despite being cleared to leave. And over the last decade, we've had 5 health secretaries, and the cost of their collective failure to deal with this has risen to over £1.5 billion. But the biggest price has been paid by countless Scots who have been failed as the situation has deteriorated. But, Presiding Officer, apparently not to worry. We're now told the self-described full-on John is rolling up his sleeves and taking personal charge of the crisis his party's created in our NHS. So given he rolled up his sleeves and wrecked our education system, and he rolled up his sleeves and wrecked the public finances, is it any wonder Scots fear for the future of our NHS under the SNP?
If I may just remind all members that we do not use nicknames in the chamber. First Minister.
There'll be no worry on that front from me, Presiding Officer. I'm really touched that Mr Sarwar is taking such a close interest in all my press interviews. That suggests he's a bit touchy about things these days. That suggests that maybe he's a little bit worried about his position, that he's not quite as confident that he was heading in the direction of Butte House. Well, if he's that worried, that tells us we're on the right course in what we are doing. Over the course of the last few weeks and months, a number of important steps have been taken by the Government to strengthen the availability of social care in our country. The expansion of frailty units associated with A&E departments, the expansion of the hospital at home system, which is designed to care for individuals in their own homes and provide them with the clinical care to avoid them being in hospital, the support that's been put in place in relation to the strengthening of GP practices, which of course is not helped by the employer's national insurance contribution changes of the United Kingdom Government. These are all some of the steps that we are taking, and of course there's a big decision coming up for the Parliament in the next few weeks, and that's about the budget. Because the budget delivers a record financial settlement for the health service, and the budget delivers an increase, a real terms increase for local authority funding to support the social care system. The big question is, will Labour support the Government and our investment in the social care system?
Anas Sarwar.
Presiding Officer, with that answer, I think it's clear that John Swinney won't be joining Nicola Sturgeon at the Glasgow Comedy Festival. But come May 2026, he will be joining her as an ex-First Minister of this country. Because the SNP's record on the NHS is one of abject failure. Our NHS and care system is in permanent crisis, and we have a Health Secretary that no one has confidence in. He should be sacked for mismanaging our NHS, not just misleading this Parliament. Because right now, on their watch, over 863,000 Scots are stuck on an NHS waiting list. Over 100,000 of them waiting over a year to be seen. And right now, 2,000 Scots are stuck in hospital, medically cleared to leave, but unable to go home. So no matter who they choose as the latest Health Secretary, the SNP can't deliver the new direction our country needs. But instead, today, John Swinney will gut his National Care Service bill with years wasted, millions lost and not a single hour extra of care delivered. Isn't just this the latest example that no good idea survives SNP incompetence?
First Minister.
Yesterday, I convened with the Health Service a discussion of stakeholders in the Health Service discussing all of the challenges that we face. And I'm completely open about the fact that we face challenges in the Health Service in Scotland today, and that's why I convened the session yesterday. It's why I'm setting out the steps that we're taking to ensure that we have an immediate focus on ensuring the resources are in place to drive down waiting times and to ensure that we tackle delayed discharge. That's what we are doing. But one of the participants in the discussion yesterday raised with me the damage and difficulty that's going to be faced by general practice because of the imposition of an increase in employers' national insurance contributions. Now, isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting?
Let's hear the First Minister.
Isn't it interesting that the Labour Party and the Labour leader is rather silent on the question of employers' national insurance contributions, because that is a classic example of the Westminster Government acting in a fashion that is going to damage the delivery of health and social care in Scotland. And there's no amount of shouting at me by Labour members will detract me from pointing out to the public the damage that will be done because of that increase. And of course, what do we find out? We find out that Anas Sarwar is completely and utterly hopeless and powerless in the face of a UK government that's taking a decision that will damage our health and social care system in Scotland. So what the people of Scotland know is that this government will protect the interests of Scotland when Anas Sarwar sells them out.